Hello friends, today we are going to talk about the care and propagation about Dieffenbachias. Dieffenbachias are also known as dumb canes. They are perennial herbaceous plants which belong to the genus of tropical flowering plants in the Araceae family. They are native to the tropics of Mexico, West Indies and Argentina. They are cultivated as ornamental plants and especially as house plants they are used. There are several varieties of Dieffenbachias, but at the moment I can just show you two because I've got just two varieties. As you can see, they both are Dieffenbachias and they both are completely different in the kind of leaves they have got, in the kind of color of their leaves and the variegations that they've got, and they look amazingly beautiful. They're one of my favorite plants because of their bright color and their texture and how beautiful they look. Dieffenbachias, they feature pointed ovate leaves in a variety of combinations of green, cream and white colors. As you can see, this one has got the green color on it, the yellowish lemon color and the white midrib over here, and this one is completely different with green color and all this patchy variegations on top of it, and they both look so beautiful in their own way. Dieffenbachias, they can reach up to 10 feet tall with its leaves as long as 20 inches like these plants that you're seeing in front of me. They are at the moment they're very small, but when they grow bigger they can reach up to great heights, and the leaves also start growing very big and massive, and they look really beautiful whenever they're kept anywhere. You can keep them anywhere in the house. They can adjust to any type of lighting, but they actually prefer to be in bright indirect sunlight, especially during the summer months. But in winters you can also keep them in direct sunlight, and they love to being in sunlight, as well as you can keep them in dark areas as well, but they what I've seen is they don't do very well if you keep them in darker conditions, because it might affect their growth. It might affect the growth of their leaves, the variegations that they've got on the leaves, and you if you want them to grow really big and tall, you might need to at least expose them to bright indirect sunlight, maybe 4 to 6 hours during the day. Now we'll talk about the soil. The dumb canes, they like to be in well aerated potting mix with good drainage system, because if there's good drainage, they'll get the roots will get good aeration, and this will avoid having root rot to the plants, because they don't like to be in soggy soil. But yes, they do love to be in moisture. So what you would like to do now with this, I would like to take you to the watering conditions. So now the moist conditions, how you can provide them is by putting you can prepare your own potting mix by adding 60% of cocoa peat or cocoa coir or peat moss with 20% of compost and 20% of perlite. So if you add more of the peat moss, it'll help to retain more moisture, so the roots do not dry out, and also the perlite will help to keep the soil light and will help to remove all the excess of water. When you're buying your Dieffenbachia from the nursery, make sure that the pot has got lots of drainage holes in them, so that the excess of water can drain out and your plant does not sit in water, because excessive water, as I said, can cause root rot to the plant, and the plant eventually dies. There's no cure of root rot. So your plant will just die if you keep them in a lot of soggy soil. But at the same time, you need to maintain that moisture in the plant. So never allow your plant to completely dry out. You might need to keep on watering them regularly, but at the same time make sure that excess of moisture, excess of water is just going out, and your plant does not sit in, like, the soil is not soggy. You can water them once in a week or twice in a week, depending upon the size of your plant. If your plant is really big, your pot is really big, then you don't need to water your plant very often, because the pot is bigger, it has more soil and it can retain more moisture. But whereas if your pot is small, then you might need to water it more often, because the less soil, the less moisture it will retain, and your plant will dry out very easily. So you might need to water, just keep an eye on the soil on your plant. If you see that the leaves are drooping down or they are getting yellowish from the tips, then you might need to keep an eye on the waterings. At the same time, do not overwater your plant. Just make sure that your soil is moist but not soggy. Now, related to the temperature and humidity, these plants, they like to be in above average warmth. So if the temperatures go down below 15 degrees Celsius or 60 degree Fahrenheit, or if your plant is sitting where there are cold drafts, then your plant might lose the lower leaves, which might make it give a shape of a palm-like shape it might attain. So make sure that your plant is in a warm spot, and not in a colder place or cool environment. Especially in winters, you might need to move your plant into somewhere where it's more warm, maybe in a kitchen, because of the cooking and all. Usually the kitchen and the dining, it warms up a little bit. So move them at that spot so that your plant remain in warm and moist and humid conditions. For humidity, what you can also do is, in the tray down here, you can put some pebbles and a little bit of water in it, so that it can maintain that moisture. A little bit of water, not that the plant and the whole your soil sitting in water, just to maintain that humidity. You can also use a humidifier, just to keep that level of humidity in your room, especially during dry temperatures. Now, regarding fertilizing, you might need to fertilize your plant regularly, once in a month, and fertilize it with balanced diluted fertilizer, such as 20-20-20, or you can even use seaweed solution. I usually use a seaweed solution, 1 or 2 ml of seaweed solution in maybe a liter of water, a light fertilization, especially during the growing period, when you see that new stems are growing, especially when you see that new leaves are coming up, new leaves are growing. That is when you would like to keep fertilizing your plant for more proper growth. One of the most important thing here I would like to tell you is that these plants, Dieffenbachias, are very, very toxic. They contain oxalic acid and calcium oxalate crystals that can cause burning and swelling of the lips, tongue, and throat. They can cause difficulty in speaking and swallowing. As well, if you consume it by any chance, and that is why they are called dumb cane. It can also cause vomiting, nausea, diarrhea in some cases. The poisoning is rarely fatal to human beings, but it's still advisable if you keep them away from the reach of pets and small children if you have them at home. And also you might need to wear gloves if when you are repotting your plant, or you are or you're propagating your plant, because there are chances when you pot them, or you come in contact with the leaves or the sap. The sap is mildly toxic, so some people might be more sensitive to the toxicity of the sap. So just to be on the safe side, wear gloves before you expose yourself to the sap or to the cuttings of the plant. Now we'll talk about propagation. Propagation is really easy. I'm not going to show you how to propagate at the moment because my plants are really small. When they grow big, then I'm going to make another video on its propagation, but I can just tell you roughly how to do it. You can just take a cutting of the stem. Make sure that when you are taking the cutting, I'll show you on this one, when you're taking the cutting, your cutting must have at least 3 leaves on it. So you take the cutting from somewhere here where the 3 leaves are joined, the middle of the thick stem. You take the cutting from here, and then you can try both water propagation or soil propagation. I would prefer going with the water propagation because when you place your cutting in water, you can actually see the growth of the roots, how they are doing, and whether your root system is well developed or not. But whereas if you put it in soil, you just need to put it in soil and just wait. You can't see how the growth is doing unless and until you see anything happening, something happening from the top, the leaves, new leaves coming up from the top. So I would prefer going with the water propagation. Put it in a cup of water and then wait for the roots to grow. And once your root system is well developed, you pop it into the soil, and that's it. That's how you propagate. It's really simple to propagate. I'll show you this one is giving out beautiful new leaves here. Some new leaves over here. A little one is coming from between over here. You can see they're really beautiful plants, and I love them. I love to keep them in my living room, in my bedroom, and I make sure that they receive enough sunlight, indirect sunlight during the daytime. And you might need to keep them at warm spot. Make sure that they get a lot of moisture. The temperatures are fine for them, and they're very easy to care for. One more thing regarding the pests. They are prone to pests. They can get mealybugs, aphids, and many other sorts of pests they can get. But if you get those types of pests, you can what you can do is make a shampoo solution. Maybe 1 ml of shampoo and 1 liter of water, half a liter of water, and just spray on the leaves, spray on these leaves, and then during the night time, during the evening time, and then just wash them off with water in the morning. Try doing it a couple of times and it should help. So this was all about Dieffenbachias. If you have any more information about the growth and propagation of this plant, please do share with us, and hope you enjoyed watching my video. For more exciting and informational videos, please stay tuned with us. But for now, thanks for watching. See you next time.